whether it's the Bhagavad Gita or Zen Buddhism, has that influenced your personal spiritual practice and how you approached your day to day?
Yes, it has. I was equally attracted to Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism. And when I wrote the Tao of Physics, those were, the traditions that I discussed. And I wrote, you may not know that, I wrote the book before I ever went to India.
Wow.
So I read books, and again, I was very much influenced by art. There's a beautiful book about Indian art by Heinrich Zimmer, big coffee table book with all these, Shiva statues and beautiful paintings and everything. So that was one I studied very much. But anyway, when I went to India first in 1980 and then in 1982 and then later on several times, when I went to Hindu temples, I realized that I could never be a Hindu because this is so culturally defined, the practice of Hinduism. I realized I couldn't follow that tradition, although I was very attracted to it, intellectually, but the actual practice, although I loved to watch it, but I could never do it, whereas Buddhism is not so culturally conditioned. And of course, Buddhism traveled, from India to Sri Lanka and north to China, Japan, and around the world. And so I was able much more to relate to Buddhism in my daily life. And there I also had an experience in Sri Lanka where I went to Buddhist temples. This was in 1982. I went to Buddhist temples and to puja festivals and so on. And I also had discussions with, Buddhist monks and Buddhist teachers. Mm-hmm. And I realized that in the West, we often have the tendency to see Buddhist practice as meditation. Right. But in fact, that's only one of the 8 precepts of the Buddha. It's the last one.
Absolutely.
It starts with right seeing, right speaking, right livelihood. So it connects with your entire life. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to live in this way as much as possible. And then also from the very beginning, I was very interested in Taoism. And I began to practice Tai Chi in London in the 1970s. And I still do. I had, gaps where I stopped my Tai Chi practice, but then I picked it up again. And for the last 10 or 20 years, I've been practicing Tai Chi as my practice of meditation. So, I tried out various things of these traditions and ended up with, let's say, a Buddhist lifestyle in the sense of Buddhist ethics, if you wish, and a Tai Chi practice.